Hey guys, long time no see. I know it's been a while since I've done a video, but I've just been really busy here, and we had a really crazy summer. It was really hot. We broke some temperatures here, and then we had tons of wildfires all over, and so it was really smoky, and a lot of times I didn't even bother coming out. I came out and watered and whatnot, and kind of did a little bit of weeding, and then didn't spend a lot of time outside. I just didn't feel like making videos because it was just so smoky and hot and whatnot. And so I figured you guys weren't really missing anything because everything seemed to do really well. I had some weird things happen that, like my Israel melons, they produced and I got a few, and then I thought that they had died back. And then the beginning of September, I saw some little buds. And so I let them go, and they ended up producing some really small melons, and it's now too late. We had frost for the last week now, almost every night. Last night it got down to 26 degrees and pretty much decimated everything. So pretty much everything is done. I picked the rest of my zucchinis. They're done. Hot peppers. Yeah, pretty much the only thing left now is the goji berries. The goji berries, now they will survive some light frost. So... oh, my hands are all, if you're wondering what all that white stuff is, it's paint because I've been painting some shelves. But I just wanted to do just this quick update and let you guys know what's going on and that I'm still alive. But I do have some winter projects that I'm going to be doing that I'm going to bring you along for. Oh, I did have a lot of people ask about the goji that, the rest of the reason why I'm sitting here, about the goji that I did from seed. And this one here is the one I planted from seed. And I like I told everybody else, I gave all the rest of them away. So this one here is 3 years old, I believe, or 2.5, and it's doing really well. It's produced. This is the original plant here that I just keep cutting back and keep it small. The one over here is a 2-year plant. I know I've got some weeds in it. I just let them go. It's not producing yet. That one will produce probably next year. But anyways, this is the one from seed. It did really well and produced really well. Of these two plants here, I get enough gojis to last me all winter long, and so I don't, these 3 plants here are gonna, I'm gonna have tons of gojis. But I do have the seeds available on my website. I'll put a link below from this stupid dog. Sorry, he comes out and he eats a whole bunch of stuff off the ground. I don't know what he's eating, and then he throws it up. But I do have the seeds available from the original plant here on my website, and so. I'll put a link below. You can go out and take a look at that. And then a lot of other things that I produced this year that I do have some seeds available. The Borchansky watermelon did incredibly well. I did save some of those seeds. I'm going to do a germination test to see how well they're, and if I can get up in the 90s germination results, then I'll make those seeds available also. I do have other seeds that I did. I did the lemon cucumbers did incredibly well this year, believe it or not. And what happened this year was really weird because when we had the smoke and it was just hazy, it kind of freaked the plants out. And so a lot of them just decided that summer was over. And so they just started to die back. And then once the smoke cleared, this happened for like a month, we had serious smoke. Once the smoke cleared, then I think they thought it was summer again. I don't know what, but then they started putting out flowers. And so I started getting... Believe it or not, I had started getting some late peppers and tomatoes. Even my watermelon, 2 of my different watermelons started to put out buds again. And they only ended up being about this big. And then when the frost hit, the plants just died back. And I probably had 30 or 40 zucchinis that came out. And within that month, they started budding about beginning of September. And they were about this big. And so the plants died back, and I picked all of them and took them in the house. Let me see, what else? Yeah, so pretty much I think everything is pretty much done except for the gojis here. And I'll show you one little freaky thing that happened with one of my watermelons, the Borchansky. I'll take you over there and show you that it grew and then it stopped, and then it started growing again, and so I'm going to pick that, but I'll show it to you real quick. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But now the winter projects that I have coming along that I'm going to bring you along for. I am getting rid of my greenhouse, and I'll explain that in a minute. I'm going to be doing some fencing around the property to keep the deer out so I don't have to do this temporary fencing, because this stuff is just nasty to roll up. And I mean, people throw it away, but I don't want to throw it away because it's just goes into the landfill. So I try to reuse this stuff, but it tears. And believe it or not, over there near my Opelka tomatoes, which did really well this year, by the way, for some reason the deer like them because they're elongated, and so wherever I put them, the deer will fight to get into it. And so they took this fencing here and they just tromped it. They just knocked it all down and tore it completely to get into my tomatoes, the Opelka. So I had to actually end up putting a barrier, a hard barrier around them to keep them out of it. I don't know why they like them so well. They'll walk by all of my cherry tomatoes to get to the Opelkas, and I don't understand why. Well, I know why for me, because they're like one of the best tasting tomatoes I've ever had. But so yeah, everything is done. So the projects, I'm gonna put up a new greenhouse this year. I'm putting up a whole bunch of fencing. I'll be starting more of the garlic, and I'll be doing that. And what else am I doing? I'm doing something else. Oh, I'm gonna be planting this fall some raspberries and some blackberries. Over here, if you can see that tree, not the tree line, but before it, just past those raised beds, there's a whole 80-foot, 90-foot row of wild blackberries. And they did incredibly well this year. I was picking gallons and gallons of blackberries this year. But the problem with them is these wild ones, they have thorns. And so you get into them, and it's like 110 degrees outside. And so you can't really wear long-sleeve shirts. So you go in there with short sleeves and you get all tore up, and I end up going into my house, and my wife is kind of like, what happened to you? And I've got these scratches all up my arms, and so I'm giving that up. I'm not going to do any more of the wild blackberries. I'll let them go, and then I'll pick along the edge, and I'll leave them for the birds, because the birds and the turkeys love them. But I'll leave them for them and just let them have them. And my fence is going to go up on this side of them anyways, and I'll just let them grow up and go wild and let the birds have them. And it's great food for them. And so the fence is going to, I'm putting in a lot of fencing this year. So yeah, I'll bring you along for that. Now the greenhouse situation is, and I know I'm kind of rambling, but everybody wanted to know. They kept asking me questions. And so the greenhouse, I've been doing a lot of research, and I've owned glass type greenhouses and these poly greenhouses. And I'm just sick and tired of fighting the poly greenhouses. And if you look online about glass versus poly panels, and everybody swears by the poly panels, I've decided that I can't stand them. They deteriorate over years. Now I've had this greenhouse for, I believe, 11 years, I think. And I'm continually, every year I replace at least 2 panels on it, because they just break down and they crumble. There's nothing you can do about it. They're just, the UV breaks them down. And so I'm done with them. I think that I don't want to spend $150 every year to redo the panels on that. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to tear that down and give it away. And then I'm going to put up a glass greenhouse. And I'll bring you guys along for that. I'm going to start that probably next month sometime. And that's about probably, I'll start the fencing shortly after that. I don't have to have the fencing done until next year to keep the deer out. But I do have, I mean, my property is most of the garden. The garden is about, well, the garden goes 90 feet one way, and then it goes 120 another way, and then it kind of cuts over. But it's a lot of square footage. But the fencing I'm going to put up, I'm just going to put it up 2 sides for now, and then just put the hardware cloth up around the other 2 sides. But anyways, and oh, one other thing too is that I had people ask about the grapes. Now the grapes I did not prune last year, and a lot of people ask me when did I prune them or when do I prune them, and I didn't prune them in the spring or late winter like I normally do. And that was a big mistake, because they just overgrew the arbor, and I couldn't even walk through the arbor. If I can find a picture, I'll post it. I think I took a picture of it when they first started growing. But anyways, my wife and my daughter, stupid dog, my wife and my daughter were kind of upset, because when they came out, they had to go around the arbor and not walk through it, where, I mean, I built that so you could walk through it. But anyways, the weird thing that happened is the turkeys, I found out, love that arbor. I took the bird netting and I draped it completely over. I took these big poles and I draped over 3 or 4 of these nettings, but I'll be doggone if the turkeys didn't fly up onto the top of the arbor, scratch and tear this netting completely off, and then ended up getting into the grapes and that's another thing too, is that I got gallons and gallons of grapes, but they're all seeded grapes. None of them are seedless, and so I'm going to be ripping those grapes out and I'm going to put in seedless. because it's all a trial and error anyways, right? You put in and you think, okay, yeah, I really like those. And I've had those grapes in there for 10 years, and they've done great every year. I'm just tired of the seeds. I know I'm getting lazy as I get older. But I'm going to be planting seedless grapes in there, and so I'll bring you along for that. So I've got a lot of exciting things that are going to be happening. And so I should put a warning at the beginning of this. It's just me rambling and talking. And so there'll be other things that I'll bring you along for. But anyways, just a quick video, let you guys know that I'm alive and everything's going good. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about the things that I've got that are going to be going on here. So let me quickly show you the, let me go grab that watermelon and show you that. Okay, so this here is the last Borchansky watermelon here. And they did incredibly well. This one here cracks me up though, because it started growing and then it got about this big, and then it stopped. And it just sat there until the smoke went away. And then when the smoke went away for about a month, after a month, it started growing again, and it's a little deformed because of that. But it's still a good watermelon. And this here, of course, this is all of the zucchini, which did incredibly well this year. I was really impressed with it. So that goes into the compost pile. See this here too. I mean, there's a little one here that started to grow at the end of summer. I don't know if you can see that, but anyways, yeah, this is all the zucchini is done. So anyways, let me show you over here the alpaca that they kept getting into. Okay, so this thing is pretty much dead. But this here was the alpaca. I had 3 of them, and they did incredibly well. But the deer, look what they did here. They just kept knocking this down, and I kept putting it up, and they kept knocking it down. And so I said, just forget it. But anyways, I said that they could just have it, and because I picked so many of them and whatnot, I just gave up on them. So that's another reason why I'm putting up a real big fence this year. And here is the Israel melon, and this just cracks me up. I know my shadow's in it, but it's just the way it is. These here, now during the summer, I got well, not a whole bunch. I got a few of them that were pretty good size, and they grew. These here started to, the buds came out at the beginning of September. The smoke and everything faked out all of the plants, and they just started producing these, and this is what I got. So yeah, that's what it is. And this here is the Nogani pepper, and they did really well this year. I just have 3 left here, and I had 2 plants of these. These are all dried out. I just left them on here because I'm going to save some more seeds, which I've got a bunch of. Anyways, that pretty much kind of wraps up what's going on for the summer here. Look at this knucklehead. You know what he does? He comes out and he looks for lizards. The lizards love to live around the garlic bed inside of those bricks. And so he comes out and they peep their head out, and then he goes after them, and he's never caught one in all the years that he's been out here looking and trying to chase them down. He'll go after them, they'll pop back down in there. He's never caught one in his life, so it just cracks me up. And he spends his whole time out here. That's his whole existence when we're out here looking for lizards. But anyways, he has a blast. And one last thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is that I'm thinking about getting chickens again. I haven't had chickens in decades. I grew up raising chickens, by the way, and I know other people have asked me about getting chickens, and so I have decided that I'm going to think about getting chickens again. So, but that'll be another winter project. Back here along the back fence, the east side of the property, I'm thinking about putting a coop with a run, and so that's probably going to be another project for this winter, is putting in a chicken coop. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Post down below. Do you think I should get chickens or not? I have so much like waste of scraps that I put into my compost, and then you guys know that I generate tons of compost for my gardens, and I never fertilize. I just use compost. But I think that, of course, I know putting them all the kitchen scraps into the chicken pen and then recirculating that into compost will be a much better, richer natural fertilizer for all of my plants. And so I'm leaning right now. I'm about 60 to 70% sure that I'm going to be doing chickens again. So anyways, I'd like to have your guys' comments on that, and if you'd like to see me start raising them, and well, because I kind of grew up on a chicken farm, and I'm actually I do love chickens. I'm not gonna eat. If you're one of them, I'm gonna eat one of these. No, these they're pretty hot, so I'm not gonna eat one of them. But anyways, I might make these available on my. I've got like 30 of these things drying right now, so a limited supply of these string peppers, hot string peppers. But anyways, there's my update, guys, and keep watching. I plan on posting regularly again now that that heat and the smoke is over and my projects are done with. I'm going to get back into it again, and so there'll be a lot of fun projects coming up. So anyways, I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to quit it now and watch the dog chase lizards. So all right, thanks a lot for watching, guys, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. All right, we'll catch y'all later.